I love that little voice. This call is being recorded. Thank you.
Fucking
It's
right.
nice.
British.
Very British.
Hey,
Very
wait.
British.
How about Rorschach? Rorschach his ass.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funnier if you compare them to smaller, cuter creatures, though.
I disagree.
Sonic the Hedgehog. You know, Ron Edward.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I think I've seen Steve the Hedgehog do like an impression of like Twilight with Sonic characters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So where were we?
Yeah. I don't know. Who else wants to take a stab at Twilight for now?
Oh dear, I could go all day.
I know you could.
The
But,
thing is,
remember,
What have you been playing?
remember the 60s or like early on where like all the movies were like just guys saving girls.
Yeah, well,
was helpless.
you're talking about the 50s. That's where gender roles came about.
Yeah.
The 50s, down, everybody fit a gender role.
Yeah, and
but that's another thing that bugged me, and on a personal level too, is when Bella and Edward are in the car, and Edward's talking about the music he likes, and he says, "Yeah, I like the 50s music. 60s and 70s were terrible, but the 80s were bearable." Okay, this is a personal thing for me.
Mm.
Okay, the 70s, okay, I kind of get because there was disco, you know,
Ooh.
but there was also like, you know, Aerosmith
Beatles.
and Eagles, you know, and a lot of good rock bands came out of the 70s. Now the 60s is a completely different matter. First of all, the Beatles.
Fuck
Hello. Rolling Stone, yeah. You got, you know, you had Woodstock. You know, you had an entire revolution of music in that one, you know, decade, yeah. And, you know, I get it if you don't like all 60s music all that much, if it's not your cup of tea, okay, fine. But to say that it's god-awful or terrible and 80s music is bearable, no.
80s music had Poison.
Yeah, okay.
And that was the
but
greatest
also,
band ever.
but then there was also, you know, Devo and fucking synthesized music and like...
Hey, Devo rocked.
they had like cones. What do they have on their heads? They had like toddler play toys on their heads.
They did indeed. And that's what makes them a great band.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, god damn. But you can tell that from that alone that Esmeyer is putting her own preferences in the book. And as a writer, I understand, like, if you're doing a story or a character, you can't help but put even a little bit of yourself in every character. You know, you can't help that. But to shove your entire thing of morals and, you know, beliefs and likes onto a character, to not have any variation in their likes or dislikes,
That
is
makes
boring.
sense, actually, because apparently she's kind of a devout Mormon.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
so like the 70s and 60s were kind of like the anti-religion,
Well,
sort
she's
of.
also, what, like 20, how old is she, 30?
Yeah.
30.
30? Okay, she wouldn't have been
30
around for 60s, 70s, you know?
And that's why she I think she liked the 80s, because
Yeah, because that was her time. That was her time. That's what she grew up with. And here's another thing. I actually read a very funny article. It was like 4 long pages, you know, 4 long, you know, it broke down the books, you know, one long article at a time. And it actually points out that the Cullen family is supposedly symbolic for the perfect Mormon family. They're white, they do everything together, they're rich, they're there for each other, and they're perfect at everything.
those honkies.
I'm sorry, I hate images like that. It's ridiculous.
It is. It's it. And by the way, in my rewrite, I make Jasper black.
Yes! Call him Blackula. That's my favorite term ever.
Blackula. No, because where was I? Oh yeah, but yeah, I mean, it makes sense once you think about it, because there's like Mormons, they do everything together. I mean, everything. If a new married couple wants to have a baby, the family gets together and decides whether it's, like if you're really Mormon, they get together and they decide whether it's a good idea or not for them to procreate. Okay, it's freaky.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And
That's kind of weird.
kinda.
On so many levels.
And of course the whole, I'm not having sex with you until we get married, getting married simply to have a child, and she's for pedophilia, aka Jacob and Renesmee.
Oh God.
But she's a big anti-gay rights.
She is?
Yeah.
Yeah, she doesn't
obviously.
like gay rights. Yeah, and I am the opposite, actually. But I mean, it's like, oh God. And here's the thing. Oh God, I can't even go on.
Take a breather, girl. Take a breather.
Okay. I'm breathing. I just, when I get into a rant like this,
You're not breathing, I don't believe you.
There,
okay, now I believe you. Now stop.
Oh God. Yeah, and the relationship. Okay, here's another thing of why it's completely sexist. The relationship between Bella and Edward is abusive beyond all manner, except he doesn't hit her. That's the only way it's not abusive.
It's very emotional, isn't it?
Yes. He stops her from seeing her friends. He takes out her engine in her truck to stop her from seeing her friends. He watches her while she sleeps. He says, "Trust me, don't ask questions, do what I say."
Bitch.
He makes choices for her. He doesn't let her do what she wants. He deters her from going to college. He deters her from having dreams or a life. It's completely emotionally abusive. And she just takes it. She takes it without, so much as a sound complaint. She whines, because she whines about everything, but she takes it without complaint. Can
I speak a sec?
Go ahead, yeah.
That's sort of considering something happened to a close friend of mine. Her stepdad and her mum got into an abusive relationship, and
yeah.
I mean, it's her mum did a similar sort of thing. She was very quiet for ages, and eventually it welled up, and the guy ended up trying to kill her with a hammer.
Oh my God.
Seriously. Yeah,
oh
seriously. He attacked my best friend's mum's mother, and it hit her in her arm. She broke her hand, and she fell back, and luckily because she fell back, the guy missed her head.
Oh my God.
Ow.
Yeah. And the day before, when my friend got held back because I went to call for her at lunchtime, she was crying, and it made out she was sick. And the sad thing is, later that afternoon, about an hour after I went back to school, that's when the whole thing happened. And,
yeah.
I mean, as an outsider looking, it was horrible. But the thing is, because of that... Please, Tessa, be quiet, my lovely dog. Sorry, my dog.
Okay.
Because of that happening recently, when I read the book, I thought it was disgusting.
Yeah.
Something else, because I saw the emotional abuse happen quite often, and it was, sort of thing. It wound me up so much, that book, because of that, and that alone.
Yeah, and here's the scary part. I say this in my other video too, is that women from battered women's shelters and women who have been emotionally abused, who read Twilight and like it, are trying to go back to their husbands and boyfriends because they remind them of it. That's the scary part.
That is not.
Yeah. That's the scary part.
I don't understand why girls my age, because I'm 14 turning 15 next month. I don't understand. Thank you. I don't understand why people look up to Edward and Bella. I mean, Edward is shallow as hell.
So is Bella.
And so is Bella. And they're looking at like, oh, they're so beautiful, they're a beautiful couple. I want to find my Edward. And this guy is trying to act like Edward so they can get with girls.
Yeah.
I mean, what the Twilight is just so shallow. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and here's the reason I think it's so popular is because it was written in first person.
Yes.
And because it was written in first person, it's very easy for the audience to become the main character. You know, it's self-insertion, Mary Sue. Exactly. That's why my rewrite is written in third person, because I'm not having that. Yeah, I don't write in first person. I hate first person.
It's a horrible way to write as well.
Yeah, unless you're